for the debate? For the debate? Rush to your seat. Yeah, we had a slight situation and it's fixed. Thank you. I recognize the member from Richmond Hill.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to support the motion number 8. We all care about the importance of intimate partner violence. Our government has been very clear from the start that we are committed to address gender-based and intimate partner violence and seriousness, responsibility, and real solutions. We are not using this as a political theater, but rather I really thank the member from Kitchener South Hapsla, as well as our Associate Minister of Women's Social and Economic Opportunities. I thank you for making this statement so clear. It is important in response to just the member opposite from London West saying that why are we questioning just on epidemic and endemic?
You need to say you're sharing your time with the member from York Southwest.
Yes, thank you very much for reminding. I'm sharing my time with members from York Southwestern. Thank you. I was just rushing back to my seat. I almost forget about this one. Thank you very much. But let me elaborate. The reason why we're having this debate here, we see that it is very important for us to understand the difference between epidemic or endemic. Because when we say this is endemic, we are bringing solutions to what we all want to support and what we want to eliminate the violence that we have from the intimate partner. Well, I thank, as I say, the member from Kitchener and South Hapsla that she take a lot of studies and research to understand the difference between the two words. In endemic, it means it's deep-rooted, persistent, and present in every community across our province. Our government stands united in recognizing that truth, because when we speak honestly about the scope of the problem, we take the first real step towards ending it. This is really bringing the solution to the problem, to the matter that we all face. The word we choose really matters, Speaker. Endemic is not a word we use lightly. It is deliberate, thoughtful, and grounded in evidence. Violence against women doesn't just appear overnight, and it won't disappear on its own. It's built into attitudes, inequities, and patterns that have been passed down for generations. By calling it endemic, we are saying that it is not a temporary crisis. It's a long-term challenge that demands long-term solutions. And that's why it's so important for all of us really together to find a solution. We should not end ourselves up here wasting the time in this debate, but rather put it into action to resolve the problem. When the opposition is using the word epidemic, as we learned during COVID, it is sudden and explosive. Endemic problems, on the other hand, are persistent, predictable, and deeply rooted in systems and structures. The World Health Organization in 2021 stated clearly that violence against women is endemic in every country and culture. It is a reality that we face, and pretending otherwise doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. Declaring it an epidemic might sound dramatic, but it doesn't go far enough to acknowledge how deeply this violence is embedded in our society. Speaker, it is disappointing, truly disappointing, that instead of standing shoulder to shoulder with us, the NDP has chosen to turn this into a partisan fight. Why can't we work together to make sure that we really find solutions to this problem, which we all recognize is important? The women of Ontario don't need delays. They need action. This is not a time for wordplay and political point scoring. The opposition's refusal to cooperate tells you everything you need to know about priorities. Our government's commitments is not just spoken. It is demonstrated through funding, through legislation, and through results. In 2022, we secured over $160 million from the federal government for Ontario role in the National Action Plan to end gender-based violence. In 2023, we launched Ontario's stance, Standing Together Against Gender-Based Violence, now through decisive action and support. Through Ontario's stance, we are making the single largest investment in this fight in Ontario's history, the $1.4 billion. This $1.4 billion supports prevention programs, survivors and their families, a responsive justice system, Indigenous-led approaches, and wraparound community supports that actually make a difference. Last year, we expanded this action plan with additional $100 million, funding 85 community-based projects that target root causes of violence. Every dollar we invest in a dollar towards safety, prevention, and accountability. Madam Speaker, these investments are changing lives. We are seeing more survivors find safe shelter, more communities launching prevention programs, and more agencies offering trauma-informed care. This is what taking action and real progress looks like. On Monday, we announced $26.7 million investment to expand shelter spaces and family court supports. That funding alone will support over 300 new shelter spaces. That is really solutions. This is across more than 65 shelters province-wide. Madam Speaker, we also understand that safety and economic security go hand in hand. That is why we expanded Women's Economic Opportunity Program, helping thousands of women gain skills training and independence. Since its launch in 2018, more than 5,700 women have benefited from apprenticeship and pre-employment entrepreneurs program. Through our Investing in Women's Futures program, over 10,000 women have received supports that they need to rebuild their lives. Through counseling, education, and job training, we build up the women, because these are the best way to protect women. This is to empower them as well. In response to the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, we launched Pathways to Safety, a strategy shaped and led by the Indigenous women. The Indigenous Women Advisory Council has guided this work every step of the way, ensuring Indigenous voices lead the solutions. Speaker, we've also taken decisive action against the horrific crime of human trafficking. In 2020, we launched the Anti-Human Trafficking Strategy, backed by $307 million over 5 years. We have since renewed that strategy with an additional $350 million investment, bringing it to a total commitment of over $650 million by 2030, the largest in the country. These aren't empty promises. They are concrete steps that protect vulnerable and hold traffickers to account. Intimate partner violence cannot be solved overnight. It requires sustained focus, not headlines, not slogans. The NDP may want to treat this as a short-term political win by calling it, to change our mind, to use the term epidemic. It is not an epidemic. That's why we say this is endemic. How we define a problem determines how we solve it and bring good solution to it. If we treat endemic issue like epidemic, we risk wasting our resources and losing time. By being honest, by calling it what it is, we lay the groundwork for sustainable generational change. This isn't semantics, it is a responsibility. Our government has zero tolerance for violence against women. This is not a slogan. This is a standard. I'd like to pass the time to my member opposite so that he can continue what I have started.
I recognize